Welcome to another episode of Cut to the Chase. Davis, we're talking failure. Failures. You can lead this one today, though, can you?
Well, I've forgotten more than most have learnt, and look, there's nothing wrong with making failures. And one of the things that I see and that you see too, Diego, even in your young days, is a lot of people make mistakes around pricing because we forget we are marketers, i.e. Diego, we are negotiators, we love auction, but we are not pricers, or we don't do pricing, or we give opinions, but what are they worth? It's only about facts around pricing, and some of the mistakes that I've made are horrific. But I'll own up to one today, right? I remember in my early years, I was doing an auction and the bidding stopped at $825,000 and then didn't meet the reserve. I went out and the buyer said, "What do I have to pay?" I said, $900. And he went, "I'll pay you $900. And then I went, bugger. Went inside, signed up the contract, and he pushed over $100,000 deposit check. Very, very important lesson, right? Stay out of price. And as my good friend Peter Walker once said it, you've got to use it as a priming position. He who talks first loses. 825, thank you very much. But my owners have a higher regard for the property. Zip. But not throwing out $900,000.
Yeah, and you remember the auction we had a few months back where the vendor said they wanted 1.8, and we're like, okay, well, let's give it a try.
Is there a gold mine sitting out the back?
Exactly. We're missing something here. But anyway, we heard it all before, so let's say, well, let's see what happens on Friday. And then we basically sold it for 1.6, just over 1.6, and then the vendor told us after we would have been happy with 1.1. And we're like, all right then, you're going to be more happy because you got an extra $500,000. But the first thing when they say 1.8, you kind of go like, oh, what? Am I missing something? So we've learned from hearing it many times that at the end of the day, hey, let's stay away from the price. And your best words are normally in this market, hey, if there is ever a time to achieve that result, now is the time because the market is good, right? What about the auction that we sold a few years back where the reserve was $830 and the opening bid was $862,500, and the vendor was upstairs crying by the time we went and said, "Do you want to put it on the market?" Which of course they were going to say yes, right? But so it's in a way, it's like we never decide what the property is worth when we put a reserve or when we do an appraisal. We have an indication, but hey, let's go to war. Let's see how much money we can get, and the process will actually dictate the outcome, right?
So the biggest mistakes that I've made over the years is when I have an opinion on price. But here's the kicker, as you know, people actually want to talk price. So when you do have to talk price with people, you only state facts, not opinions, not quote prices, not we've had buyer feedback from X, Y, Z. Another really important lesson my father taught me, the old bugger, but he was right, was when you have properties that are priced, right? We don't sell at auction, which usually we love doing, and we get it about 80% of the time right. But if we don't sell under the auction terms, you price property immediately. And one of the other mistakes that I learned early on, I'd have a property, this was way back when you were just a twinkle in Dad's eye. But this was at a time when you'd say, right, we've got a price at $600,000. Buyers would ring me up and say, what's the price? $600,000. And I would say, would you like to make an offer?
Yeah.
Now those words are really important because really what you're saying is how far an offer is below the asking price. So my old man heard me saying it once.
Yeah.
Never ever ask, would you like to make an offer? Where do you see value? Do you want to own the property? The price is $600 and I can guarantee you our owners will take more. One of your lines that I steal all the time.
Well, I think I stole it from you, but if an auction passes in, we always recommend to put a price because by that point we got feedback, we get a gauge of where the market sees value. And then people say, oh, so would they take as a negotiable? And I always says, yeah, they'll take more. And people always say, well, no, I mean less. And I'm like, well, you asked me if it's negotiable. So you're right. At the end of the day, let's stay away from price, the auctions, trust the process. The process will dictate the price. And at the end of the day, it's worth what somebody's prepared to pay for. Our job is to find the best buyer at the best price.
Yes.
As simple as that.
So don't make my rookie mistakes. Don't talk first about price. Don't have an opinion on price, but you have to know your facts. And I'll finish with my favorite one. You're going with negotiation and all of a sudden you have an impasse. It's like a standoff at the OK Corral. There's 980 and there's $1 million. Don't be the rookie auctioneer or agent that goes, split the difference. Don't be that person. we're at a bit of an impasse here. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer or Seller, are you prepared to put your life on hold for 20 grand? Same for the buyer. Prepared to put your life on hold for 20 grand? Because I think you're worth more than 20 grand. Zip. Then
right.
Someone will say, split the difference, but it cannot be you.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look, nice to see you again. How about we'll do it again next week? And what are we talking about next week? We're talking timeline?
Well, I have no timing, right? I have absolutely none.
You're actually good. You're never late, which is actually one of your good things. So it's next episode, let's talk about timeline, auction timeline, and the best way to maximize a campaign. Shall we do that?
Timing's everything.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, share it, and
stay out of price.